Fetching Pup Frisbee tutorial today, you're going to want the following tools. You're going to want your scissors, some fill, quite a bit of fill. You're going to want a J-hook, a blunt needle of any size, and some yarn, preferably cotton. Today I'm going to be working with acrylic, but cotton is a great thing for this. Let's get started. Hey everyone, this is Colleen with yarnwars.com. Today we're working on the Fetching Pup Frisbee, and we have, as I had mentioned before, I am going to be working with acrylic today, but the best material, I've made a couple of these already. The reason I'm going to be using acrylic, and you can use acrylic for this, but cotton is just better. But the reason I'm using acrylic today is because all of my all of the cotton that I have right now is very dark, and I don't want it to be difficult to see through the tutorial. So he'll still be able to play with this. I made one in an acrylic so far and two of them in cotton, and they're both holding up. So let's get started. The first thing that you want to do is start with your slip stitch or your slip knot. Just cross over and put your yarn, your working yarn, up the back of that crossover, and you could pull this through with your fingers or your hook, either one. But that is our slip knot, and that'll get us started. You can work the magic circle or the chain up method like I'll be using right now. I do have a standalone tutorial for the magic circle, but I'll be using the chain method to begin. So I won't go through that because I do have another tutorial. But if you're working the chain method, we're going to chain 4 and join with our first chain made. To form a loop. We're going to chain 2 and work 10 half double crochets into that loop. We are not counting our chain as one of our stitches. So we're yarning over, pulling through. We've got 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 for half double crochet for the people who are new with crochet. So that's 1. We want 10 of those. 3. There's 6. 8. Now if you notice, I'm working over my tail to do the hiding. You just keep that along the top of the project, along the top where you're making your stitches so that you can stitch right over that tail. And at the end of the project, we're going to be able to close this up by pulling on our tail tightly and then hiding it within that inner circle. That's going to pull it tight. We're going to join with the first half double crochet that we made. So right at this point, we're going to join with a slip stitch to form our circle. We're going to chain 2 for round 2. We are now going to increase into every stitch around. So what that means is we're going to be working 2 half double crochets into each stitch around. We're going to start with that beginning chain space right there. We're working 2 half double crochets into each stitch. So we are working this pattern in increments of 10. This will give us 20 after we complete round 2 because we are increasing by 10. So go ahead and continue working your increase into each stitch around. And we can actually reach the end without pausing this video once, so perfect. Okay, so just doing a quick check. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and then we're going to join to that top of our first half double crochet made. Because we're joining into that first half double crochet, that is why we are starting our stitches into that beginning, so that we, because that is actually a stitch. For round 3, we're going to chain 2. We're going to start by working an increase into our first, into that chain space right there. So we're going to work 2 half double crochets, 1, 2, and then we're going to work 1 half double crochet into this next stitch. We're going to increase in our next stitch with 2 half double crochets, and then 1 half double crochet into our next stitch. So you're going to continue this around, working 2 in the next one, 1 in the next one. Every other stitch you're going to work an increase, and we'll meet up right over here to finish off round 3. So we've reached the end of round 3, and we're going to work our increase, and then we're going to end this round with 1 half double crochet. You're going to have a total of 30 stitches after round 3. So this is going to be pretty easy to keep count of, because each round is going to just add a 0 onto that, and that's how many you should have after you've completed your round. We're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that first half double crochet made. And we are here. So to begin round 4, we are going to chain 2 and work an increase. We are going to start the increase rounds, all of them, in that first chain space. That will be our start to each round that has increases. So we're going to work 2 half double crochets right into that first chain space, and then we're going to work 1 half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So we're going to work 1 and then 1, and then an increase of 2. So we're going to go 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, and then 2 half double crochets. And this is our new pattern around for round 4. 1 half double, 1 half double, 2 half doubles. You're going to continue this around. We will meet over here at the end of round 4. You're going to have a total of 40 stitches. So just go ahead and pause your video, and like I said, when we get to the end, we'll meet up and finish off. We are reaching the end of round 4, and we just worked our 1 half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches there. Now we're going to work our increase and 1 half double crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. So we're ending this round with our 1 half double crochet in each of the last 2 stitches, joining with a slip stitch to the top of our first half double crochet made. By now you probably have figured out the pattern that we're using here. We're going to be going with, it really depends on the size of your dog, how far you want to go with this. If you're going to be making this for a small dog, I would say maybe 1 more round for you on this, which will be a total of 50 stitches around. If you are making this for a medium-sized dog, I would work probably 2 or 3 more rounds and 3 or 4 more rounds for a large dog. The medium and large pretty much are going to be sufficient for either size dog. So, but for a smaller dog, you don't need as big of a Frisbee as I'm making. So for round 5, we chain 2 and work our increase right off the bat into that first chain space. And then we are going to work 1 half double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. See what we're doing there? And I know a lot of you that are watching this are probably not new to crochet, but I'm just trying to make it easy on the people who are. So then we're going to follow that with an increase of 2 half double crochets, and then 1 half double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. We'll work an increase in the next. We'll work 1 half double crochet in each of the next stitches, 3 stitches. Go ahead and pause the video. Continue this pattern around till we reach the end, and we will meet up to finish off this round. So I have reached the end here of round 5, and I just worked 1 half double crochet in 3 stitches here. I'm going to follow that with an increase, and I'll be ending this round with 1 half double crochet in each of the last 3 stitches. At the end of round 5, I will have a total of 50 stitches. We'll join to the top of our first half double crochet made. I'm going to actually make this a little smaller than I made my other one because it actually turned out to be a pretty good size deal. So I want to see how this works, and I'll show you how you need to go on from here if you are working it for a larger dog. So for my next round, round 6, we're going to chain 2, work our increase into that first chain space of 2 half double crochets, and then we're going to work 1 half double crochet in each of our next 4 stitches. We're adding 1 on each time, each new row. Then we increase with 2 half double crochets. We work 1 half double crochet in each of the next 4, then an increase. Continue that around, pause the video, and when we come back, we'll be over on this end to finish off round 6. So we're just at the end of round 6. We just worked our increase, and we're going to work our 1 half double crochet in each of our last 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to join to the top of our first half double crochet made right there with a slip stitch. At the end of this round, you're going to have a total of 60, and you're going to have a flat circle. It shouldn't be bending up and curling. I mean, obviously it's fabric, so it's going to bend a little, but it shouldn't be curling, and you'll know when your project is curling. So from here, we are going to start. I'm going to end the inner circle of my Frisbee now. And with my other one, I worked 2 more rounds. So I'm stopping 2 rounds earlier than I did for the ones that are pictured in there, because I'd like to see, I'll still be able to play with my puppy with this one, this size, but I want to see what size difference this is going to be. And I am doing the video right now before, I mean, I've obviously written up notes for the pattern, but before I do finals on the written pattern, So I will put some different sizes in here for the small, medium, large dog so that it makes it easier depending on what size your dog is. Okay, so now we are working the bubble part of our outer circle, the part that we're going to stuff. And there's actually one of two ways that we can do this. One way is probably going to be a little tougher in some parts to get through. But basically we're trying to make kind of a flap at this end. And I'm just going to scoot in. The way that I'm going to tell you to do it will be chaining 2 to start our round. One of two ways you could do it. You could either work the front part of the flap in your front loop only, and the back part of the flap in the front loop only. Or the back loop only. We are working 2 identical flaps for this that are going to be sealed on top and stuffed in the middle, like a stuffed crust pizza. But you can do it that way, or you can utilize that entire stitch on both sides. If you use, just for added security, if I wanted to work, my first stitch is going to be an increase. So I'll go ahead and put that in. My first stitch is an increase. If I use that whole stitch, I have to work that stitch again on this side. So when I come around to work this side of the pattern, I'm going to have to edge up in between those stitches and get in there and make my other stitches. Now, I have been doing it front and back loop, so it's been very secure. So there's not a problem with that. But it would be easier for you to do front and back loop. So I'm going to work front loop only on this. I'm going to show you the way that I would do it if I were you, just to make your life easier. Front loop only for beginners is going to be this one loop only, not your entire stitch, just the one loop. And when we work our back stitch, it's going to be this one only. So we're going to be working our first increase into that chain space, which is this one right here. I'm going to work 2 half double crochets into that first front loop only stitch. I'm going to work 1 half double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. I'm going to increase in the next stitch with 2 half double crochets and 1 half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. We're going to repeat this around. Our next one will be an increase of 2 half double crochets, and then we will work 1 half double crochet in each of our next 2 front loop only. Okay? Oops. Well, that was nice. Get back in there. So continue that around, and yes, this is going to start ribbon. It's going to ribbon. I was about to invent a new word, but it will ribbon. It will be bigger than the rest of this. It's not going to lay flat, and you want it that way. So go ahead and continue doing this around. Increase in every other 2 half double crochets. So you're going to work an increase in front loop only, and then 1 half double crochet in each of your next 2 front loop only stitches. Continue that around, and we'll meet up here at the end to finish this round. So we're coming into the end of round 7, In our last round, we had a total of 60 stitches. At the end of round 7, we are going to have a total of 80 stitches because we are working every other stitch an increase of 2 half double crochets. So I've just come to the end here, and I just need to make my increase of 2 half double crochets and then 1 half double crochet in each of the last 2 front loop only stitches. And then I'm going to be joining to both of the loops in my first half double crochet made. So as you can see, this outer part is definitely going to be bigger than the inner part, and you want that. So when we've completed this, like I said, round 7, you're going to have a total of 80 stitches. So the next few rows are just really simple rows. We're going to finish one side of our flap before we flip over and work the other side. So we're going to chain 2 for round 8. And we're going to work in both of our stitches. We're going to work 1 half double crochet. And then we're going to work 1 half double crochet in each stitch around. Each and every stitch around is going to have just one one stitch in it. I can't talk, sorry. We're not doing any increases at all on this round. So when you finish with round 8, you will have a total of 80 stitches. So we are going to just continue working around, like I said, 1 half double crochet in each of your stitches around. When we get to the end here, we'll go ahead and meet up. And I apologize for all the shadowing here. It's not very helpful, I know. I'm trying to give you as little shadow as possible. It's the lighting I have right now. So when we get to the end, I'll go ahead and jump in here and finish you off on this round. But then I'm going to let you take off and work up your next couple of rounds by yourself, because we'll actually have a total of 4 rounds starting with this one right here. 4 rounds with 1 half double crochet in each stitch around. So go ahead and continue, pause your video and work it around till you get to the end of round 8, and I will see you on the other side. We are just working our last stitches in our round 8. So if you're following along with us, again, just recap, we will first of all, we'll join to the top of our first half double crochet made. At the end of this round, again, you're going to have a total of 80 stitches. So here's what you're going to do from here. You're going to want to make 3 more rounds in the same way with 1 half double crochet in each stitch only. So we're doing the exact same thing for our next 3 rounds as we did for round 8. You're going to chain 2 and work in beginning in that starting chain there. You're going to make 1 half double crochet into each stitch around. So you'll have a total of 80 stitches at the end of each round of 9, 10, and 11. So I'm not going to stop anymore. I'm going to let you go ahead and work those last 3 rounds. And then we'll come back in and we'll go from there on the other side of this project. So either pause your video, or you can pause your video. And then when you come back, we are going to be flipping to the other side. So I will see you in a bit. And we are back. We are now ready to start. I have finished off, we wanted a total of 4 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, including our front loop attachment there. So what we want is just for a little bit of curl after this. A little bit of curl. But now we're going to go ahead and start the other side so that we can begin our flap section of this. So we flip our project over. I went ahead and already finished off my, I locked it off, knotted it. Just for new people who are not real sure right now about some of the things, like hiding in tails. With the middle tails for the rounds, all I do is I pull on that to close it as tight as possible. I'll put my blunt needle in, and I'll just go ahead and do this real quick right now. But I just go through the inner stitches of this circle. I'll just go through those to tighten it up and to close that middle circle. Now, another nice secure way to do this is to come to the stitch before your tail, that stitch right there, come behind it, and then go forward through the stitches. And if you notice, watch what that does. That'll lock that in place so it'll keep it tightly closed. I do that a couple of times right before that. And I know that I'm going to have a pretty secure hole in the middle there. And then I'll go ahead and cut off my tail now. So what we're going to do, and I do apologize for some of the shadowing here, guys. My lighting is really off. I need to work on that a little bit. I've been working with daylight, and here in Michigan we have had very little sun, so I had to flip the light on even in the daytime for the camera so that you could get some idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the back. I'm going to see if I can move in here a little bit. What you want to do is, and I want you to notice first off, we worked the front loops on the other side right at this area. So as you see, we have a ridge of loops around this entire circle here. And it's going to be very obvious where that area is because it stands out from the rest of your stitches in the back. Okay, so you can see it pretty well from there. But what we want to do is, and I leave my tail here where I finished off just so that I know my starting point, but we want to come down, and I also apologize for noise. I have a puppy that barks at everything now. We're going to come down and locate our chain first. So we're right about here, I want to say, with our chain. This is a little tougher for me to see, so give me just a second. We're right about in this area right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and go into this area because it doesn't really matter if I match up perfectly or not. That's not going to make a difference. But I'm going to join my yarn back in here. So I'll just pull this yarn through. My tail, I'll just leave it there for now. And I'm going to chain one. And tighten it. Now, if I want to secure this in place really well, I can go ahead and tie a knot around the tail and the working yarn. Because this won't ever be seen. It's going to go into the inside when I hide it. So I'll just tie a knot for now. And then we can also hide this tail in at this point. So we've got our tail, and I'm just going to hold it above the rest of my stitches so that I am working my tail into the project, working my stitches over it. So you see this ledge, these are our back loops from the other side. We're going to start with our 2 half double crochets, our increase into this stitch right here. So we're going to work our 2 half double crochets right into that, and we're working right over that, if you see, working right over that tail. So if you fold your project, those will stand out really well, and it'll be really easy to work in that ledge just of your back loop only. So our next one, we worked, I'm going to work just 1 half double crochet. And then in the next one, I'm going to work 1 half double crochet. And we're repeating what we did on the other side when we worked our front loop only. We're working an increase, and then we're working 1 half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So we are working an increase every other 2 half double crochets. So we just worked our 2 half double crochets. Now we're going to work our increase into that next one. And after I've gone through this, I'll go ahead and drop my tail so it's not in the way. I think I've worked that in good enough. Okay, so I'm going to push that out of my way now. So I just worked an increase, and then I'm going to work 1 half double crochet, and then I'm going to work 1 half double crochet, and then I'm going to work 2 half double crochets into that same stitch, or an increase. So this is going to be the same pattern, like I said, as the other side where we worked our front loop only. Our next one is now, since we did our increase, we're going to work 1 half double crochet in each of the next 2, and make sure you're just working into that back loop area, and then we're working increase. So go ahead and pause your video and finish this round. Like I said, we're doing the exact same thing as the other side. So we're going to finish this round, and at the end of this round we're going to have a total of 80 stitches, just like the other side. So pause it, and when we get to the end, we'll come back in. I will come back in and help finish off this round, and then guide you on to the next few rounds. See you in just a bit. All right, so I'm coming into the end of this round. I just made my increase, 2 ridges left to work into. I think I do. There we go. And then we're going to join to the top of that first half double crochet. All right, so now you see that we're starting the new flap, which is going to look like this when we're finished with it. I'm going to just pull this through real quick, get this tail out of the way and clip it off. Which this will be very, very simple. We're just going to go in a few stitches here. I'll pull it out the other side. All right, so now you're going to do exactly the same thing as you did with the other side, of course. So we've just worked both of those loops now. We've got our sections of our flap. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, work 1 half double crochet into that first chain space right there, and then we're going to work 1 half double crochet into each stitch around. Now we want to make, so there's only going to be a total of 80 stitches after this, or you'll have the same number of stitches depending on what size you're making as you do for this last round here, because we're only working 1 half double crochet into each one. So from here we are going to be making 4 rounds, including the one that I'm working on now. We're going to be making 4 rounds of half double crochets, 1 in each stitch. So if you want to go ahead and pause your video and finish off this round, and then 3 more rounds of this same exact way, or same exact pattern on this round, and then we'll meet at the end of that 4th round. So just continue working, join when you get here, chain 2, 1 half double crochet starting in your same chain space, round, continue that 3 more times after this round. And I'll see you in just a bit. So I'm just coming into the end of my 4th round worked, or number 5 if you're counting the back loop only row that I did. And then we're joining to that first half double crochet. All right, so I am not going to cut right now. I'm not going to get rid of my tail on this. Not going to do that because we are going to be using this. And if you did already cut a tail for it, don't worry about it because it's going to be, you can just join a new piece to work it in. But this is what you have now. You've got your flap that we're going to close up and just this middle section. If you want a little more added, durability with this, my suggestion would be to make 2 of these inner circles. Stack them together, stitch them together, and then if you do it that way, you won't have to work front loop, back loop. You can work one side in one part of that, on the bottom part of it, and this part on the top layer of it. So that is also an option, if you want just a little more thickness here. So now we are lining up. We're right where our other, just about right where our other stitch is here. Our ending one, where our tail is. So we're going to go ahead and go into, I'm going to go right into this next, let me try to zoom. I'm going to go into this next stitch here, straight back, to that stitch on this side. And that one is, because I locked into it, it's going to be a little tougher to get through. I might just not be going through that one. See, this is the one that I would like to go through. And let's see if I can make it. Because I want to line these up as, I don't know, I just personally want to line it up perfectly. So if I can get back through it, there we go. And we're just slip stitching right into there. So you're basically just going to work down the line, have your stitches lined up like that, and you can go in, working your slip stitches. You're just going to go straight through both of those stitches, yarn over, pull through, and pull through for a slip stitch. And we're going to do that through the entire round. But what you want to do is just work about, I would say about 10 stitches at a time, because it's going to be really hard to stuff. Sorry, I'm getting off track here. It's going to be really hard to stuff if you go really far out. You don't want it to get real lumpy. So you want to just do, I would say 10 to 15 stitches at a time. So I'll do about 6 more here. 1, and I'm just slip stitching through both layers. Let's see if I can that. 2, 3, 4. We'll just do this one and then we'll stop for a second. So I have from here to here stitched up right now. Pulled it out long so you don't, when you're stuffing, you don't pull your string out of place there. But what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to get this stuffed right here. So grab some fill. And if you have a couple of great ideas for fill for this, since it's going to be a chew toy for your dog, you can go with this, but you know, unless you line the inside of this, eventually some of it's going to start coming out. But if you have old t-shirts, an old t-shirt would be great. You can just cut it in a bunch of strips and just shove it in there. That would be perfect. So you don't want to overstuff, but you don't want to understuff. So we've started and we've got our first bubble there. Let me see if I can pull this through. What am I doing? Oh, okay. Got caught in some of the stuffing. So we're just going to continue and work about, I'd say about 15 more, and then stuff again. So let's do that real quick. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's see, yeah, we'll do 15. So we'll do 5 more real quick. So we've got this much more stuffed, or to stuff. We'll grab our stuffing. And I have to fluff this one up. I had this in all balled up here. Remember to pull your tail out a little bit, your working yarn out a bit so it doesn't pull out your stitch as you're stuffing. But you want, like I said, you want to try to get it stuffed evenly so that it's not lumpy bumpy in some areas. And I would say actually 10 stitches, because this is still even a little bit of a challenge. So I would say every 10 stitches, just stop and stuff it. You only have to do it 8 times if you're making this size, so it'll be just fine. Remember, don't overstuff, don't understuff. So this will work into another part of that. Another few stitches there. So all you're going to do is you're going to continue down the entire outer part, around the entire outer part of your Frisbee, just closing it off. And just to give you a good idea, and I'll show you again at the end of this, but to give you a good idea of how this is going to look, it's actually going to look really nice. It's going to make a really nice seam around the whole thing. It's going to be like an even seam. It's not just sticking up in a pinch like some projects will if you do a slip stitch around the outside. It actually is just a really nice seam all around. So continue doing this. Work 10 slip stitches and stuff that area, and then we will meet at the end of this. We are finishing up our project. We'll meet at the end and continue on from there. We'll finish off. See you in just a bit. So we are at the end of our stuffing. You want to just get it stuffed as evenly as possible around. And that'll be flat in the middle there. But I think what I would probably do is just go ahead and stuff this last area and just work your stitches around the stuffing. And that might be a little painful, so you get to see me struggle a little bit here with the end of this project. But I'm going to go ahead and do this just to make it easier, so I'm not stuffing through a little hole on top. And give me just a second. trying to really fluff this stuff up so I can get it in there evenly and not lumpy. Maybe that's enough. Maybe, please. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and start stitching now. If I have to stuff a little more in here, I'll be fine with that. So I'm just finishing this off. I thought I'd pop in here and finish it off with you. And you probably have already finished yours. So I'm just going to come through and work my last few stitches to close all of this up so the puppy can play. Maybe just a pinch, oops, sorry guys, maybe just a pinch more I'll add in there, maybe, just to make it even. Yeah, I think I needed that, so alright, pinch more. I just don't want it coming out as I'm stitching up, so we're going to be very careful and close up the rest of this. Oh, I'm sorry, and I know I'm coming in and out of this. I'm not sure if I'm all zoomed out or not. Okay, so we're at the end. And all I'm going to do is just come in and make one more slip stitch right in that area right by there. I will do my classic chain one to lock this stitch in place. Get off the little tail and pull it tight. And just kind of push things around a little bit to mold this. So this isn't one of my more colorful ones. I mean, it's colorful, but it's not like mine were pretty. I had a lot of color. So I know I locked those in place, but I'm still going to tie a knot here. I'm going to show you something kind of cool about hiding in. For all of you who've been crocheting a long time, this is nothing new to you. But if you're crocheting any kind of like amigurumi, however you say that, anything that requires you to do a lot of sewing and connecting and all of that, one of the nice things about that, or stuffing, anything that requires you to stuff things, I'm going to go ahead and take this and just kind of weave it in just a little bit, just a little. I'm just going to pull it over here because I did tie that in a knot, so I'm pretty sure that's going to stay. But a nice thing is that you can hide this tail very easily. Just go into an area close to your working right here. So we'll let it come in here. And I can come out the other side. My tail's right here. So if I pull on it just a tad, just give it a little bit of a tug there and cut close to that and squeeze it a little bit, and it just sucks it right back in there. So you've hidden your tail inside your work. This is kind of a fun little tidbit, nothing real new to a lot of you. And this one is going in the other direction, so I'm going to kind of weave in. I would normally use my smaller blunt needle. I'm not sure why I'd grab the big one. But we're just going to go a little ways. And then I'll come into here and come out through the other side. Give it a little tug. Clip. And done. And we finished our Frisbee. All right, guys. So it's really an easy project. Very, very simple. A couple of parts of it are a little frustrating. Not really. It's really just a very simple project. But like I said, if you want to add more durability to it, really easy, I would just stack a couple of these and then work off of those to make your ring, your outer ring. That'll work even better than having to work your front loop, back loop. It'll be even more durable. But as you see, we have a nice seam that goes around. It's not going to be 100% even on the stuffing end. I mean, you know, that's not easy to do. But you want to try to get it, make sure you're stuffing it as you go so that you don't get it all lumpy in one area and bumpy in another. But that's it. It's almost like a tube floating in the water. So if you use certain kinds of material, you know, it'll be a lot easier on the, you know, as far as the chewing and all the slobbery, mouthy funness of the dog. So anyhow, hey guys, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this project. I know I have. I've made a few of these already, and he is getting a whole lot of play out of these. He actually likes these more than the tennis balls, and he really loved the tennis balls when we started. But I hope you'll come and visit us over at our group. You can like us at our Facebook page at facebook.com/yarnwars, or we have our group. I'm going to put all of the links below. So we have a group, thousands and thousands of wonderful members, creative, so talented, from around the world. A great place to meet new friends, to, you know, just if you need support in certain areas of a pattern, anything, chit chat. It's a great group of people over there. So I would love to see you. It's over at facebook.com/groups/yarnwars. And like I said, I'll put those links down in the description below. But all of our free patterns are, well, all of our patterns are free, and they are located at yarnwars.com. Or like I had mentioned before in the video, that we do have all of our downloadable PDF files, which are available in our Facebook group. So you can find those in the Files tab in the Facebook group. But subscribe. I would love for you to subscribe. You'll be the first to know when a new video comes out. We've got lots of fun new things coming about. And I hope you'll join us. Again, check out the description below. The written pattern link is also down there. And you all have a wonderful day. Thank you.